Israeli Defense Forces preparing for a ground invasion are reportedly considering a new weapon in their arsenal to disable terror tunnels dug by Hamas. Reports say the new gadget, dubbed the sponge bomb, is a device filled with a chemical foam that expands when triggered, allowing IDF soldiers to trap terrorists in underground passageways and secure safe routes while searching for hostages. Retired Major John Spencer is with the Modern War Institute and the International Working Group on Subterranean Warfare. He joins me now. You know about what it means to fight underground. Looking at that graphic, looks like this is something that's employed on the ground. How significant is this?
I mean, it's a tool I've seen actually studying the IDF. It's something you would use to seal like a small hole. Hopefully, Hamas believes it's something more than it is, and they're scared of it. I did call it the sponge bomb when I saw it. Just think about trying to seal like a sewer opening so you can move past it rather than an offensive weapon.
So this is a tactical weapon that may help in some circumstances, but it's ultimately, you're an expert on this. How do you deal with the tunnels if you're Israel?
I mean, there's no one solution. Israel has some of the best things developed in the world, from drones that bounce off the walls to attack dogs. They're going to have to approach each one situationally because of the fact there might be hostages down there. And the last thing you want to do is send a soldier down there to fight, but the IDF had that capability too.
I've heard people suggest a lot of different things. Is there anything that's a catch-all on these tunnels, or is it so dispersed? I mean, people have suggested flooding tunnels. That sounds really difficult. Is that conceivable? I mean, are there other tactics that the IDF might have to get at this holistically?
Well, not holistically, but I mean, so there's a challenge of a tunnel when you find it, like while you're tactically fighting, as you might imagine. Then there's what you do with the tunnel afterwards. So that's where people start talking about how Israel has filled them with cement in the north. Egypt has filled them with seawater, which actually is a really maybe a likely way to deal with these at the end of the war, once they destroy all Hamas military capabilities, to fill them with seawater from the Mediterranean, like with some horizontal drilling, and you'll never be able to use those tunnels again.
Interesting. What our viewers are seeing right now, I don't know if you can see it or not, is a graphic the IDF has put out where they have placed a lot of their terror hub, their headquarters of Hamas, directly underneath Gaza's largest working hospital. So it's a working civilian hospital, yet their tunnel complex is right underneath it. If you're the IDF and you want to defeat Hamas, how do you do that with a hospital right above it?
Right, very carefully. And I actually interviewed the IDF spokesman for my own podcast about this. Not only are they underneath it, the hospital is the entryway into this tunnel complex. It's actually a war crime to do that. So this is how the IDF has to fight, with their hands behind their back, and they won't bomb it. They'll have to assault it when and if that time comes, very delicately. Even though it's a military target, Hamas conducted a war crime trying to take away the hospital's protected status in war. But this is the challenge that everybody wants to talk about IDF doing war crimes, which I haven't seen a single one. And by the very nature, Hamas uses war crimes as a method of warfare. It's ridiculous.
They know exactly what they're doing. They placed it there for precisely that reason. Do you think eventually, if Israel is going to completely obliterate Hamas, they'll have to go on the ground into that hospital, into those tunnels?
Absolutely. You can't destroy Hamas by bombing it. You have to go forward, close with, and destroy all of their capabilities, their leadership, their fighters, their tunnels, their rockets, all of it.
There you go. Major John Spencer, thanks for your insight. Great stuff.